Well, what's up, campers? It is Jackson Galaxy here, your lead cat camp counselor. And if you happen to have missed the September 2020 cat camp, never fear, that's why I'm here. Andrew Marttila, the cat photographer, took us through a live session on how to take better pictures of your cats using pictures of your cats and all these sort of easy fixes to make it just stand out and make your cats look like they really wanted to take that picture. I mean, it's pretty amazing, so I'm going to bring it to you right now. And don't forget, if you want to get Andrew's books, go down to the link below, because Cats on Catnip and How to Take Awesome Photos of Cats are something that every cat lover should have. And plus, you get all of his contact, social info, all that stuff, link below in the description. In the meantime, enjoy the session, and until our next cat camp, which you will find at catcamp.com, all light and all love and all mojo to you.
I know you guys have probably been here for a couple hours. I've been to every cat camp that has existed, and it is my favorite cat convention because it's so focused on the advocacy side of things. One of the things that I try to do is teach people how to improve their photos. But before we do that, I want to ask you guys in chat, where's everyone from? Where are you guys watching from? So I'm here in sunny San Diego. We've done cat camp in New York and Vegas, and we were supposed to have a cat camp here in San Diego, but that will come in the future. So I'm just watching chat to see if you're not on catcamp.com, that's where I want all of the questions to come through and all the commentary. So welcome everyone. Denver, what's up? You've loved this so far. Well, I hope my little interstitial is valuable to you guys. If you don't know who I am, I'm the cat photographer. I'm gonna chill for a second. Here are some of my books. Cats on Catnip, West Reading, Boston, Texas. This is my first book, took place in New York. It's called Trap Cats in New York. And then my most recent book, which really has a lot to do with this session, is how to take awesome photos of cats. So this whole book is front to back tips on how to improve your photo game, whether you use a mobile phone or a dedicated camera. Arizona, Vegas, Beverly Hills. Wow, you guys are Brazil. Okay, so we got some international action going on. Awesome. So to start, the question I get the most is, how do I take photos of my black cat? And oh, London, Philippines. Oh yeah, this is awesome. This is so cool to be able to spread our tendrils of cat advocacy all over the world. I love it. Okay, so if you guys do have any questions, submit them in on the website in the chat. I will be checking that out. So like I was saying, what people ask for most readily is, how do you get a photo of a black cat? And you can see here, this is just a freshly imported shot that I took, and it's super dark and shadowy. And I want to show you just how easy it is to fix a photo that, I mean, I wouldn't post anything like this, but if you take, 2 minutes to edit your photos before you post, it makes a world of difference. And how that translates into cat advocacy is that we can get cats adopted just by taking better photos of them. So already, so before, after, that was like 2 seconds of using a slider, using an exposure tool. And these tools are in all your phones, in Instagram, in Facebook. Exposure is just a universal concept. Now, if we want to brighten up the face even more, in this program I'm using, it's called Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom. There's a sliders tool for shadows, highlights, etc. You can see the difference. So shadowy figure, no idea who this is. There's very little personality. And then we can see the eyes, the face, the nose, etc. This is a photo that I took I'm going to get to your guys' photos. And if I do start editing one of your photos, I want you just to put a ton of exclamations in the chat and say, that's my baby, you know, Petunia or whatever. I like to know the names of your cats. So if I'm editing your photo, just holla at me. Let me know. So it's just as easy as editing. I would say like 85% of the real creative process where you can bring out the cat's details, that's all in editing. And that is something that is baked into all your devices now. So we're going to go through. Never going to slam anyone's photos. I picked photos that were more or less easy to fix with just a couple of things. So what I'm looking for when I edit photos is that I make sure the white balance is right and that there's exposure. The exposure is correct so that I can make out all the features of the cat unless it's intentionally shadowed in some way. So for this photo, we can see immediately it's a little yellow. There's like a yellow backdrop. I don't know if that's a curtain, what that is. We can change now. This is the white balance. So that's if we go to the right, which is warming, this is a temperature slider. You can see it gets much more yellow, or to the left, very blue. So the balance is all about making sure that the blue and yellow are at like at a balance, essentially, so that neither is overpowering. So we can see already just from changing the white balance. And this is something that if you're taking photos in your home, you're going to have to do. Most lights in your home are going to be warm. Your cat's name is Toblerone. That's awesome. Yeah, what a cutie. So all I'm going to do now is, now that I've fixed the white balance, is I'm going to make sure the exposure is right. So I want to bring out the face and the details of the cat so that we can get to know them. And then I'm just going to amp up the colors a little bit. And we can see the before and after here. So here's before and here's after. This is how I would edit a photo. You might edit it slightly different, but the things that you need to keep in mind are the exposure, the white balance, and then the composition, which means how the elements of the photo are arranged within the frame. So depending on the medium that you're posting, if you're posting on Facebook, you might be okay with something that's a little bit longer. If you're on Instagram, you might want a square. And so if I were to change the composition a little bit, I would just get rid of where the curtain ends on the right. And then you can also, you can change the angle of the photo so that the focus is just on the cat. You don't really get distracted by anything else. What's the name of the photo editing app? This is Lightroom. That isn't a monthly subscription service. So there are some on your phone that you can use that are not part of a monthly program. I use Adobe I use Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop, and I work with Adobe to produce tutorials through their software. So I have a really good relationship with them, and I love their content. So this is the program that I use. This is the one that I endorse, but I know that there are many. Even the editing program in Instagram is more than sufficient. It's just knowing what to look for when you're about to post your photos. So this is clearly a foster baby. Hello from Kentucky, Ontario. What up? Honolulu, amazing. So a lot of photos just need 20 seconds of a brush, something just to refine them a little bit more, make them pop. All I would do here, again, exposure. I would even increase that a little bit more. Get the colors popping. So before and after. You want to make things slightly more vibrant, just easier on the eyes. And when you're scrolling through a feed of, if you're like me, my Instagram is only cat pictures. So when I see something that's bright and vibrant and not overdone, because you can kill it with some filters. So I don't recommend going too hard with filters. But when you see something that's brighter or vibrant and catches your eye, you're much more inclined to look at that, look at the other person's content. if it's on an adoption website, anything that catches the eye is going to be good for the cat. So that's basically all I do with this one. 20 seconds. I just clarify it a little bit, make it brighter. How do you share your cat's picture with you? So all of these were sourced through using a hashtag on Instagram. That was Tweety? Nice. Okay. That was Tweety. Thank you so much. Shirlane from Manchester. Awesome. Only thing I do in this one is I try to match the exposure. So on this side of the cat and this side are pretty different. Some programs don't have a tool where you can take a brush. So I can take just a brush and basically paint on whatever side I want. So I can match the exposure that way. What I'm gonna do for this is use a radial filter so it looks slightly more natural, and just put it on this side of the cat just to sort of match the exposure a little bit. So before and after, and white balance looks good. I might make it a little bit bluer and take away some of the pink. Tweety's adorable, by the way. I think I have some warrior photos in here too. And then I would just crop it a little bit, recompose the shot, and then before and after. So you can see the other side of the cat's face a little bit better. Use Polish program on your Android, or Polish probably. I have never messed with that, sorry. If you guys followed me on Instagram, you probably saw this photo recently. I posted a mini tutorial. Basically, I'm going to take this photo from looking like this, which adorable shot, but he's got a little schmutz on his nose. All of our kittens, this is meat nose phase. If you guys have fostered, you know all about meat nose. We start weaning kittens and they're very confused by the meat. They're used to the bottle, and so they get meat all over their nose. So I'm going to take this photo and turn it into wait for it, into this. So I'm going to show you the steps. This is a little bit lengthier, but we got time, right? I think I have time. I think I have like 20 minutes. Just holla at me if I'm running out of time. Do I teach classes online? I don't, but again, I got a book, and in Adobe Lightroom, I have some tutorials now. So first thing we're going to do, we're just going to recompose this a little bit. I want him or her. I don't know. If you're in the chat, let me know if this is a boy or girl. Not that it really matters, but recompose it, make sure they're front and center. Bless the USPS. Thank you for your service in this bizarro world we got going on. Great photo. Only things I'm going to do is I'm just going to expose the cat a little bit more. This little sweet baby angel kitten. Make them a little bit more vibrant. And you can see on some backdrops, so this is a red backdrop, obviously, the color will bleed onto the cat. And you can leave it as is. Typically what I try to do is desaturate those parts that have been affected by the background. Okay. So a little, some of these steps are very subtle. His name is Impala. You can follow him and other cats and hats. So this is a boy named Impala. Thank you for your work. Zach Colley, thank you for your work. You can follow this sweet angel at Foster Beasts. So well done keeping him alive, because look how adorable he is. So yeah, all I did, change the exposure a little bit, and now I'm going to work on his nose. So this is something that you can choose to do or not. A lot of times people comment and say, oh my God, your kittens are always so pristine and clean. How do you do it? And the reality is I do it with a computer. We try to keep them clean, but kittens can be disgusting. So the The kittens we have in our room that you'll see later with Hannah, adorable, but they have some poopy emergencies right now. And so taking photos, especially Mimsy, my girl. Hold on, here's Mimsy. Oh, my heart. She's got some poop issues. So just clean it as best as you can, and then you can Photoshop the rest. So what I'm doing here is I'm cloning out the dirty bits. It's totally okay to have meat nose, but it looks better without meat nose, right? And this is this might not be in every program, but there are, I know I used to use like a blemish remover program. And so you can use the blemish remover to get rid of, there's like poop on the butt. If there's crust in the eyes, you just use the blemish remover. So what do you guys think? Before, after? And the only other things I'd do, I'd kind of clean up this background just so, yeah, clone it out. Someone's got my book. Photoshop or Procreate, they're very different tools. So I use Photoshop. If I'm drawing or something, then I'll use Procreate. But Hannah can attest, I'm very bad at drawing. People make it look so easy. And then I go to draw and I realize I'm talentless when it comes to that. So great photo, just some minor touch-ups that I would do. But thank you so much for your submission. Who's this? Oh, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm not gonna, I had to mention Mimsy, yeah. Here's another baby. Thank you, whoever submitted this. This is a foster kitten, obviously. It can be hard to get light in rooms sometimes. If you don't have some kind of external light, then you're really limited to what might be coming through the window at the time, or if you have overhead lighting. So it can be difficult to get light in the shadowy part. So it's all about bringing up the exposure and the highlights a little bit. You can see the eyes are still a little hidden, but we're going to fix that. We're just going to try to bring them out a little bit. If you go too hard with any of these tools, your cats are going to look like alien weirdos. So don't go too hard. I'm going to fix the white balance here. And then I'm going to make it just slightly more vibrant. You are limited to the quality of your camera in some cases. So this is going to be a little bit noisy, but I can reduce that with a tool here. So before, after. So easy. Very quick. Is there a way to fix a photo that you over edited? Depends how badly you butchered it. If you save the photo in a destructive way and then you don't have the original, then it's a little bit harder to go back. It's almost like a tube of toothpaste. It's harder to get toothpaste back in once you squeezed it out. Shows your books again, but okay, sorry. I've been told that I'm overexposed, so here we go. Shop Cats in New York. Oh mama, this is my first book many years ago. I want to say 2015, but I don't remember. Cats on Catnip. This was the big one. I have calendars galore. Got a lot of weird Cats on Catnip merch, and this is my newest one. How to take awesome photos of your cats. And this has a whole section on editing. So all this, I mean, you guys can't see it, I'm sorry. But I have a whole chapter on editing and then putting your awesome photos to use, which is all about giving back, helping, how you could start like a side business. But really, I want to encourage you guys, if you have the artistic eye and you are even remotely adept with a camera, shelters need you, rescues need you so badly. And I'm not knocking shelters because they have a lot on their plate, but if you're able to assist and give them your skills, if you're a good photographer, you will see market results. Kittens will be flying off the shelves. as it were. Okay, we're gonna keep going. My time is up. Is my time up? I got so much to go through, but if my time is up, I'm gonna do one more. Okay, this is the last one. I don't know who this ginger babe is. I know someone else said, what about backdrops for gingers? As neutral as you possibly can. So white, gray. This beige is okay. But ginger cats, for some reason, orange cats, getting their colors right, it can be so difficult. So I try to use the most neutral backdrop as possible. So again, what we're going to do with this exposure, going to work the contrast a little bit, bring up the shadows. Now I can see it's a little bit yellowish here. So I'm going to make it bluer. And then I can kick up the vibrance and saturation. Took what, 20 seconds before, after. Oh, how do you make Kitten's eyes look sharp but not too sharp? I never use a blur. I never intentionally blur anything. Too sharp. If you're talking about too sharp that it looks noisy, then you just need to reduce it to the point where it looks natural. One of the things that I am a huge proponent of is letting a cat's beauty speak for itself. So you don't ever want to go like mega saturation style. You want to keep it very basic, similar to how it would look to the human eye. But if you want to accentuate some things, like if I wanted to go in and just highlight these eyes a little bit, totally reasonable. But the moment that you start doing stuff like this, where you're like, oh, the cats need to have blue eyes, just, it can look really weird. So don't change your cat's eyes colors. Do one more. Okay, you guys love it. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so am I cleared to do one more, team? I think I am. Who should we do? So I feel bad because I got so many beautiful photos. I can't do them all. Let's do this one. We haven't done like a brownish cat. This was taken with a cell phone. I'm going to be able to just same steps, exposure, white balance. Like I said, 99% of your issues are going to be fixed just by messing with the temperature tool, and then the brightness, luminance, exposure, whatever it's called. And then you can fine tune it with things like shadows. So I'm gonna do the shadows tool, and bring the whites up or down. You guys can see in real time how these things affect the photo. So you never want to overexpose. You're just trying to bring out the brilliance of the cat. So I made the colors a bit more saturated, and now I'm going to add some blue tint to it so it doesn't get too yellow. And then so before, is there a cat there? I don't know. It's pretty dark. Oh, there's totally a cat there, and he's adorable. Or she. Red eye with your blue-eyed seal point. So the reason why you're getting a red eye is because you're using a flash. And I never use a flash directly pointed at the cat. If you want to use a flash, maybe you have time to grab it real quick. I'll show you what I use. So here's my camera. I use something called a bounce flash. And so you can modify the direction of the flash. So normal flashes sort of look like this. They're just going to blast straight ahead. But if you point it at the wall and let the light diffuse off of a different source, you're going to have a much softer light. You won't have the red eyes. So if you're just using your phone, what I would suggest is get a cheap LED ring light, something that's handheld that you can walk around with. And you can hold it off to the side. I almost never, I never blast the cats with flash full on. So the program I'm using, Beth, is Lightroom, but you can use whatever you want. You can use the the baked in editor for Instagram or Facebook, whatever you have. Portrait setting with cats. So this is one of something that I dislike, just because there's a difference. If you see some of my photos, so for instance, this one, oh, so beautiful, creamy, amazing. You can see just what I want is in focus, which are her eyes, and then even her nose and her ears. That's not in focus. This is called shifting the aperture. So my aperture in this is very shallow. What portrait mode tries to do is do something similar to that, but it's not mechanical. So in our cameras, we have all these little blades in the lenses that can change how much light is let in. With cameras, you can augment the aperture, but when you're using portrait mode, it's an algorithm. It's a program that's trying to determine what should be in focus and what shouldn't be. So if you're trying to take a photo of your cat and they have a lot of flyaway fur or their whiskers, the program's going to have a really hard time computing that and often cut off, some of their face. So, cat photo editor, master Jedi. What a generous compliment. Thank you. Cat's name is Sherlock from Hong Kong. How you doing? Yeah, the flash is awesome. Totally. Book addresses how to position the camera. It addresses, depending on your lens, how far away you should be from the cat, from your subject, and what it would look like. I have a whole section where I take the same photo of a very willing cat with, I think, 5 or 6 different lenses, and you can see basically the crop ratio that happens when you use different lenses. With the rest of the pics afterwards, I gotta kiss Mimsy after this. So sometimes I stream on Twitch. I know Jackson streams on Twitch too, and I'll do some photo editing. But after this, I'm hungry, you guys. I gotta kiss Mimsy and eat a sandwich. I use a Canon 5D Mark IV. If you're looking for an intro type of camera, the Canon Rebel series is incredible. My Instagram handle is I am the cat photographer. So they're just letting me go. They're giving me free reign on this. The flash I'm using is a Pro Photo flash. I've used so many different flashes. There are a lot of really good ones. You can get a relatively cheap one for anywhere from like 30 to 60 bucks on online retailers that do basically the same thing that mine does. It's just that the recycle time, or how many flashes you can get before it has to stop and cool down, is a little bit less. Okay. Can you get the eye shine out? You can. You can. What's my shirt say? I don't know if you can read it all, but it says, "No dogs, no masters." Because we're at a cat convention, you guys. I love dogs, but not as much. Not as much. Yeah. Photos and sun patches. The biggest tip I have, if you're using a dedicated camera, is to use something called aperture priority mode. It will, whenever I'm shooting outside and there are clouds or there's sun coming through, it is really important to be able to very quickly change your settings. And so aperture priority mode does that for you. Okay. Yeah, just answering your guys' questions. I'm gonna leave it on this because this is just adorable. Impala, bless you and your foster guardian. All right. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. I hope you learned something. I hope it was helpful. If you're not involved in any capacity, but you just want to take cute pictures of cats, I volunteer for our rescue. I'm the photographer. This is, besides, cleaning kitten butts and feeding them, this is what I do for our rescue. I take really cute pictures. And so it is an invaluable skill for any kind of foster or shelter system. I highly encourage you guys. I know right now it might be a little bit tricky with going into places. Once it gets safe, or if you can foster at home and take photos, better photos equate to more adoptions, like no question. So I hope you enjoyed. I love you guys. Thank you all for hanging out. Today